Expeditions Rome. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Determine the destiny of Rome as you conquer foreign lands and navigate political intrigue in this turn-based RPG. Directly fight with your party of Praetorians, guide your legion to victory, and choose your own path in a story where every decision matters. How will you shape the future of Rome? First up, guys, the graphics. It looks pretty nice. Indoors, some of the textures look a bit bad, but outside it looks really good. The combat looks nice. Yeah, no problem at all with the graphics. There's a few different options that you can tweak and twiddle with if the game isn't running to your satisfactory, but I didn't have any problems at all running the game. It ran like a dream. Sounded good, decent voiceovers as well at times for the best part. Some of them were a little bit kind of scripty, but a lot of them are delivered very well and sound really nice, and like I said, the combat sounds really cool. The game itself is a great story, and depending on how you choose your character at the beginning, when you set him up, will have massive changes to the actual story itself, because after you've got past the aesthetics of your character, you have to choose whether you want to be a complete bastard. I mean, my character, Biggest Dickus, he's a twat. He was... That's how I made him, that's how I wanted him to be, and that means that when I'm in dialogue, the options that come up for me are pretty much brutal ones, and you know, murdering people was quite fun.
Good day. I am.
What are you doing?
Now once you get past that and you do a little bit of the tutorial, you'll then have to choose your class, your own class that you want to be. Now this is the fun bit, because there's 4 main classes. I don't understand, you know, the proper Roman names for them, so I'll give you them in pretty much plain English. You've got a heavy, which is like a tank guy. You've got like a light infantry, which is a bit more of a DPS kind of guy. You've got an archer, and you've got like this pike staff wielding guy who can be like a medic and things, because each of the 4 classes has 3 subclasses, and the 3 subclasses for each class are great, because as you start putting in your perks into these, or your talents if you like, you unlock more of the talents in that class. So to get to the really tasty ones at the bottom, you have to invest a lot in each of the 3 subclasses. Now you can mix and match, so you don't have to plow them all into one, so that's really awesome. So you can take a little bit, like for example on the archer class, I took a little bit out of the sniping class, but I went mainly into marksman, which just suited my kind of play style. Now the thing is with this, you cannot respec, so you have to make sure you get it right. You get 5 companions and they're all pretty much different classes. However, you then recruit centurions later on in the game, and so you end up with your 5 companions plus maybe another 10 or 11 or 12 centurions that you also can take into some of the fights with you. Each one of them classes, you're responsible for leveling them up, putting in their skill trees, deciding what classes they're going to be, getting their weapons, getting their armor, getting everything for them. You are responsible for all of that, which I love. It is time consuming, but you do get a lot of loot as you're going around doing quests and winning wars and winning battles, and you set them up the way you want to suit your playstyle and to complement each other when you're sending them into combat, which is absolutely essential. So it's really deep, this game. It's really easy to play as well, and the combat, which I'm coming to now, is such a joy. It's hex based, the combat, but the reason I love it so much, probably more than any other game of this type, is because there isn't a turn order. So I don't like turn orders, you know, where this guy has to go first. Why can't that guy over there go first? Well, in this game, anybody can go first, but the best thing about it is, and I've never played an Expeditions game before, so you probably all know this, people who've played the Viking one and all that, but for me, I was shocked when I found out that you could just move a little way with one character and then just say, I'm just going to leave you there and move this other guy for a second. And then you could move another guy and then go back to the original guy you moved. I mean, you could even send a guy up to attack somebody and then move him back after he's attacked to let somebody else go in and attack them as well. So it's so versatile. You get attack moves and movement moves. If you don't use your attack move up, you can just move further and just put it all into movement modes. Also, if you kill a unranked enemy with whatever weapon you've got, you get your attack point back, which is really cool. So there's a lot to think about in the actual combat. There's flanking, you can throw fire, you can put people out with water, you know, that are on fire, you can res people, you can heal people, you can buff people, you can throw oil and then fire an arrow into it and set the whole ground alight near the enemies. There's catapults in certain missions where you're firing flaming catapults, you're firing rocks, all kinds of stuff. There's even legion battles with legions, which I'll come to in a second. But the combat is dead easy to play. Really, really easy. Hard to master. You've got to really be careful what abilities you're using. You've got to think about what the enemies are going to be doing. You've got to mouse over them to see what kind of buffs they've got on. You've got to be really careful about who you send into combat first. It is easy to play, but you have to really know what kind of weapons you've got, what they're good at, whether you need to shred armor first before you go in and start trying to do some spiky damage with your sword. So there's a lot to think about. Times when you've got to just hold a line, maybe just put one of your heavy tanks to block an entrance from the enemy, or put some fire down so they can't get past, to buy yourself a little bit of time. Lots and lots of that goes on. There's also a big map where it's the main map of the game, where you're trying to take over different provinces. It's in Asia in Act 1, then Africa in Act 2. I haven't got to Act 3 yet. I'm still on Act 2 at the minute. But Asia is the only one I'm allowed to show you in this review until up before the 20th. That's one of the embargo rules. So in Asia, you've got this big map of Asia, and when you press the Alt key, you can see everything on the map that's there, such as farms, quarries, iron mines and things, and you have to take over them from the enemy by stealing the provinces and then attacking the mines and taking them for yourself. You need to take over the iron mines and that because you have a little base on the map, and in that base you want to build things. You need to build hospitals, you need to build armories where you can build weapons, you need to build garrisons where you can recruit more centurions and more legionnaires. And if you don't have the right amount of timber, farm materials, iron, you can't build them. So that's why on the map you have to take over all of these things. So it's kind of strategic, not so much in a city building kind of way, but you have a strategic map where you've got to go around and take things, and you do this with your legion. There's also a ton of quests on the map where you move your own companions to, and you'll have lots and lots of dialogue with different people, loads of different people you'll meet. There's murder plots going on. You've got to decide who to side with, because as well, when you make all your decisions, you can piss off your colleagues. Some of them might be bastards, some of them might be more lenient, some might be greedy, some might be honest. So you've got to be careful of all this. There's also RNG events that can happen on there. You can be attacked by bandits, which triggers a big combat scene. There could be wild animals going on, all kinds of stuff. Loads of people to meet. There's love interests as well. There's a whole adventure waiting for you on the map. But the actual Legion battles, they take place by kicking the enemy out, basically, and they'll attack your forts as well, and you have to make sure there's a garrison in there when they're coming for you. It is a bit of a shame that the Legion battles just are a few icons on a screen with some numbers at the top. It's like a little mini game that you don't really need to play. You just auto past it. The main thing that you need to look at is the tactics in the 3 phases of the combat. The first phase, you'll get some choices of what you want to be able to do, and these are all based around whatever centurions you've put in your legion as leaders. You assign them yourself from your kind of stable of centurions, if you like, and you can also make the strategies by having I'm forgetting the name of a building that you make, and it generates strategies. You can get catapults, for example, which are one-off uses, which are very powerful siege towers and things. And if you have all these stratagems, a lot of good ones, then it's pretty hard to lose a battle. I didn't lose any of these battles at all when I was playing. But you can get more loot if you have decent stratagems and not lose as many men. But that part of the game was a bit disappointing. I would have liked that to be a lot more fleshed out. I'd loved, like, if it was like Total War, that would be awesome, but I think that's just asking a bit too much. But overall, guys, I love this game. Absolutely. This is going to take some beating this year, believe me. As far as turn-based RPG goes, I don't think this is going to get beat this year. I would love to see it get beat. I mean, I'm all for great games, but I have had such a blast. How long have I played it? Oh God, I'm 27 hours into this, and I only started to play it 2 days ago. So I've been absolutely hammering this game, absolutely hammering it, and I've loved every second of it, and I'm not done with it yet. But I've got to take tomorrow off because I've got a load of stuff coming out on the 20th, so I'm having a bit of a break with my arm. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That's a bit. Yeah, I don't want any more fucking breaks in my arm. But there you go, guys. Expeditions Rome is definitely worth a buy. It's 20% off on Green Man Gaming at the minute, which is well worth grabbing. You can also get it on Steam, Epic, and I think it's on GOG. But if you like a slow burn, they reckon 65 hours to complete it, with replayability as well, because you can redo it as a totally different type of guy with different kinds of characters. Well worth buying. Definitely one of the top games for 2022. Thank goodness we're now starting to get into some decent games.